It's a privilege for me to share with you tonight. And this was actually written 60 days after I became a Christian. And it's a snapshot of a person who had found his identity in Christ after spending so many years struggling with an identity crisis and the result of an absent father. I know you don't recognize the voice you hear speaking, but this is your son, Hansley, and I want you to listen up. You see, I never asked why. I never cried. I just tried to find a situation that would justify your actions. And when I didn't find any, I didn't bother to stress. I just assumed you had to wish me and my brother success. But while you were busy relaxing, Mommy was popping those aspirins. And when I saw her on the hospital dying, that's when the animosity came. The fact that I might lose my own mother had me going insane. But even after all of that, I still don't have the heart to hate you, which is why I want to take this time to update you. You see, today I turned 24, and thankfully I'm no longer poor. Auntie raised us quite well, and my life became a nice tale. I graduated college. High school was pretty easy. I'm hardly bored because my creativity keeps me busy. I was a finance major. I had much to be hated on, but I just try to let my work and kindness silence haters. I recently heard God's calling in my life to be a pastor. And yes, I've been an eligible bachelor, but I've not tried to get a date because I've seen the consequences of your actions, and it seems like I would make the same mistakes. So for the sake of another woman's sanity, I would rather die a single man than have her marry me. And even if these start reverses, I wouldn't want to get married, end up being wrong, and have my son reciting these same verses, man. Quite frankly, I didn't care about you. And don't be fooled by the stats because I was just like you. I tried not to blame you for my woes because I'm an individual. But I do want you to see that I came out to be a product of my environment. And I'll admit that while you're relaxing in your retirement home, I'm alone. Because it's hard for me to love with this trace of anger. I'm enslaved to carry your name while you remain a stranger. I mean, for real. How am I to be proud of you when I can't even pick you out from a crowd of two? You can't begin to imagine how you've affected my self-worth. Living a life of constantly proving myself first. Having my abilities embraced never nullified the vacancy of nourishing any of my potentials at their infancy. So I grew up, skewed to view accolades as abuse, as if one chooses to approve of me only after I've paid my dues. Not to brag, but I was usually one of those dudes on top of his game, and it's a shame that people would assume otherwise, which is their prerogative, but still as a man, I hate to feel like a targeted punk. And I wish I had some help when the marketing stuff that I saw on the media led me to provocative thoughts. But through your silence, I objectified my female peers because music was not the only thing I learned by ear. But now I find myself grateful for your selfish quest for sex because the deposit of your semen was for a divine reason. Having a dad would have been nice, but hey, my need for you led me to Christ. So by you packing your bags and turning your back from being a dad, I've learned from your lack of impact. And now, through Christ, my identity is intact. And in fact, I'm now conscious of the demon attacks. So now I choose to fight for the hearts of the children and the teens and the men and the women who had to suffer from broken homes and broken dreams by showing them Christ's plan for their lives to be redeemed. And that animosity is Satan's way to intervene. Some may think I'm talking trash until they realize that the path to the cross is the only reason we ever crossed paths. How could you have been a better dad is not the question to ask, because only a fool will try to change his past. So if you want to dwell, go further back with the dates and realize that your atonement came before your mistakes. I mean, yeah, you did me wrong, but I'm no longer bothered. Disowned by my dad, bestowed by the Father. So whether you deserve it or not, I forgive you. Truly yours, Hansley Mussotte.